welcome back. It's a shell-shocked Pettigrew Arena, a gym that for the most part tonight has been buzzed with excitement, anticipation and enjoying the tussle that they've watched, but we haven't picked it up on our cameras. It wouldn't surprise if maybe one or two have left the gym. Rusbatch tries a long triple, but the Saints are showing their championship pedigree here, Casey Frank.
And I've added it up, a 21-3 run to finish that quarter. The three-pointers keep falling. Well, one finally misses, but Xavier Cook's still there, keeping the pressure on this Hawk squad, who are still trying to push the pace because they need offense.
Alcoa finds some, but you would think it's already destined for consolation conversations this final quarter. They have just been steamrolled 7 days ago, 117-87. This promises to be just as bad. Cooks goes upstairs but met at the rim.
Well, a solid challenge as the stunned crowd in the Hawks Bay. Xavier Cooks comes over, has a little chat. Friendly guy, Xavier Cooks. He'll try and smash on your head, sure, but he'll come and second on you afterwards.
Yeah, and I think respect there for Salt going up to challenge. I know there's talk of being put on a poster, but Jack Salt's a big enough unit to say, well,
that's the job.
Posterize me or not, I'm going to get up there and try and stop you.
If you're a big fella and you're a shot blocker, you're going to get dunked on once, twice, a couple dozen times. You know, it happens. But what's important are the ones you deter, what shots you affect. And when you go up to dunk on somebody once and they do that, you think about it the next time around.
Every loose ball, it seems, is falling the way of the Saints. Upshaw Jr. started the game so brilliantly, has left it for others to take over in the second half.
And you say it's falling to the Saints, and it may look like it's all lucky, but they're creating their luck. They're creating their luck with aggression, hustle, putting themselves in the right place at the right time, and great execution.
Long two for Upshaw Jr.
Showing the range again. He is a bit of force, as he is now on 22 points.
But they need some of that, and they need a lot of that. As Kenny, did he get his feet
he did not
in place? Called for the block.
Block is called. Needs to give him a little bit more time, I think, to catch and get out there. But he will always put his body on the line. I am shocked. The way that this game turned in that third quarter, the Hawks playing well, put a lot. This is not the same as what happened last week, where the Hawks got blown out of the water and just weren't able to find the work rate. They are working hard. They are putting the effort in. But the Saints have snatched this game with malice aforethought out of their hands.
And their run home is away to the Jets, at home against the Giants, and away to the Tuatara. Whilst for the Hawks, as Cooks with a little floater for the Hawks, and they'll start getting the calculator out now. And they're going to finish with a home run of games. They have the Jets and the Rams, and they've got to get at least one of those, and preferably they'd want to win the last two. But the way they're traveling here, Casey,
the Rams have a pretty good chance to be fighting for some playoff battles in that last one. They're sitting on 7 wins, games against the Giants and the Sharks. They find a way to beat the Giants, they'll be sitting on 9, sitting in that last game as well. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at matchups in this last week. We'll have to get through these 2 rounds, but I'll tell you what, there are going to be some huge games on the final weekend of the season.
Samuel worries him out of the shot, and Jordan Artai might be injured on the bench.
That came around quick, just a deflection by Tom Bogdanovich there as Law was trying to find Ethan Rusbatch in the corner. 7 seconds left.
Bueno's throw. Donker looked to be caught. Referee's happy enough for it to continue. Smashed over the top by Roberto Soldado.
Nearly reached the pool, that one.
It's one of those ones they bought for those money was Opa.
Corbett's disappeared into the behind the pole. I'm guessing it's a throw-in.
He ends up getting clamped in the corner by some fella, doesn't he?
Together, one of you. Down, go next to Dio. Together. Morgan. In front, Morgan.
Padent's trying to lift the ball into the danger zone. Nobody quite there. Cundall trying to put some pressure on, as will Gibbs White. Totti's header. This is Gonzalo Malero. It's worked nicely. Pereira carrying the ball forwards. Support from Soldado. Blocked off as Salvador tried to have an effort goalwards. Blocked off as Salvador tried to have an effort goalwards. Crunching challenge that late to be picked up on by the officials.
Difficult throughout this first half so far. The final three, the front three of Wolves are bearing the brunt really on this one.
The local prison league.
Wolves trying to get things moving, not a bad cross in. Might come to Corbin, who just misjudged it. Gibbs White. Again, he's clipped and also a free kick in a decent area.
Yeah, it's good to see Conor Ronan there break through onto the right hand side, get a good ball into the box as well.
We appear to have lost sound from Spain for just a moment. We will try and reconnect that for you. We've been having some issues. Obviously, you've been hearing plenty. It's been going on. "31 minutes played. Conor Ronan to deliver the ball in. Bodies flying everywhere. And Donker was trying to pick out Padent. Didn't quite do so, but he makes amends with halting the Levante counter-attack. Ronan working hard, trying to apply pressure. That's a good ball over the top, and the flag has stayed down. An opportunity for Levante, and it's taken. Roger Martí Salvador with the goal. Wolves looked desperately to the officials for a flag to go up that never came. And Salvador kept his nerve and put Levante in front.
Yeah, decent space in between the centre-backs then. Gomez, I'm not sure. Obviously, we've got no angle here to tell whether it would have been offside or not. We've not got the perspective, but there's plenty of space in there in behind. Whether it's to do with Conor Ronan had pushed on into the front three and he ended up harassing up there, and a bit of a gap in the midfield, slightly out of position maybe, but
it's a good finish in the end. First real clear-cut chance that either side has crafted in the half an hour of this practice game.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that Levante have clearly been keeping it very tight at the back. There's players everywhere. I think we're finding it really difficult to find any space in the final third, but there was plenty of space for them there, and obviously they're playing fairly direct as well, so got plenty of space to finish the shot. Got in behind our back two there between Totti and Collins, but again, you know, it's practice games, practice moments, practice combinations, so they'll recover and go again. I imagine once we get to the second half, we'll be looking at maybe some subs coming into play as well.
Yeah, there are what you would refer to as the more senior players, and things are getting really heated here. There's been quite a few challenges that have gone in, and the referee has got a red card out. And for a practice game, this has been taken very seriously.
I think it was slightly behind the pole from obviously where we are. We didn't quite get the perspective of it, but I think there was a fairly physical challenge coming on Mosquera, but I don't know whether something's escalated following that challenge on Mosquera, which is how it pretty much looks looking at the ref's position.
You can see he has his red card out, just out of your picture. A few players getting involved there. A lot needed to try and calm the situation down. See Ruben Neves and Max Kilman, João Martinho and Nelson Semedo amongst those who got involved. Johnny as well, maybe trying to translate for some of his teammates to exactly what's going on. And a red card each. And things still haven't calmed down fully.
That for Gibbs White?
Couldn't see out of our picture whether it was for Gerson Mosquera who'd been dragged away. The Levante are clearly fuming, still trying to gather around the officials. There's Jose Sá on the bottom of your picture come to get involved.
They're still not happy, are they?
I've shoved them back underneath, so they might be gone now, but that's there, over there. You got anything back?
I mean, given as match officials, I don't think they're in a position where they can, you know, ride it out. He has to play it. As soon as you've appointed referees, they play it like a normal game, despite the fact that it is behind closed doors training game. But
yeah, well, in certain circumstances, you would maybe expect the referee to suggest that those two players are removed.
Yeah.
And both sides can get on with it with 11. I think the number 10 for Levante had only just come on if he was actually on the field in the first place. Because it was Enis Bardi, who's not one of those who'd started. So players came running on from everywhere.
it's definitely in reaction to something that's it's an off-the-ball circumstance. I think there was definitely a challenge in there, and I think it's whatever's come after that, a little bit of afters, and obviously both players involved. It looks like one of each have been sent off. I think it looked like he'd walked towards Gibbs White, but a bit unclear. The ref's back right off into his centre circle.
So quite what exactly happened there, we do not know. But things appear to have calmed down somewhat. Johnny is still patrolling around on that halfway line. See Ruben Neves there with a towel wrapped around him, not exactly prepared to come on at any point. Looks like he's literally on his holidays.
They're having a lovely time. I think Johnny's in his flip-flops, so I don't think I think think he had 70, nearly 80 minutes yesterday. So
Well, there is Morgan Gibbs-White, look. So I'm pretty sure it would have been Jason Mosquera who got the card. Where he's been taken to, we don't know because the camera hasn't been able to show us.
And the referees are certainly having a discussion. The referee and the assistant linesman maybe are having a discussion somewhere, because we can see one on the far side of the pitch, but the other two officials have disappeared from the centre circle. I imagine they're having a conversation on the touchline with the coaching staff.
That's Roberto Soldado. You might recognise him, 37 years of age now. Been there, seen it, done it. Probably seen a couple of on-pitch fights before in his time.
I think the one point you need to get back to it is a training game. They've certainly been physical throughout that first half, particularly like in the final third, and pretty aggressive in the way that they've defended the game. A few physical tackles flying in, but I think Mosquera was on the end of a couple of nasty tackles in that game as well, and maybe he wasn't getting the protection he thought.
Well, I think it's fair to say there's definitely been an edge to this fixture so far, and it boiled over in the heat of the Spanish sun.
Looks like the Wolves players are resetting, like ready to go, but we'll see how we'll set up now. This might be reverting to a back four, maybe.
As you can see, it is officially a Wolves free kick. After all of that,
I think we could just about see the challenge on Mosquera, and it definitely looked like a free kick to Wolves at that, but obviously something's gone on afterwards.
they are Spanish host broadcasters. Unfortunately, show us much and didn't show us a replay either. Long and short of it is that both sides are down to 10 players. Justin Mosquera sent off and removed from the action. Wolverh going to ground. Daniel Penance trying to capitalise on a little mistake. There he is again, drifting his way into the penalty area, pulling back towards Kundal. And the goalkeeper did just enough to deny him.
Great play from Podence, isn't it? Driving through, gliding through the defence there. Great pull back to Kundal. I think he's just slightly ahead of him. Couldn't quite get his toe to it to finish it off, but a bit of positivity there. I think with one less player on the pitch, they might find a little bit more space in there. Maybe it looks like a tight pitch, but be interesting to see how we set up. I would think maybe they'll look to make some changes in the second half. Might put a back two pairing on with a back four, flat back four.
Well, officially we only have a couple of minutes to go until half time, but whether they will try and keep playing with all those minutes that were lost whilst everything was sorted out, after players piled on, and you saw Wolves players who were really involved, weren't expecting to be anywhere near the action, many of them wearing flip-flops and towels around their necks. On a slightly related note, I've got to admire the unity of some of those players as well for going on and getting involved.
Yeah, definitely, and that's
standing up for each other.
Yeah, that's what these pre-season trips are about, isn't it? Is it the building the bond, the team spirit as well. I've seen little bits on Instagram, a bit of dancing from Mosquera, I think, on the last clip that I saw, but
thinking he'd be off dancing now, wherever he is.
You'd possibly hope not.
It's a good ball from Ronan to pick out Kundal. Bueno closed down, and again, strong challenges coming in from Levante.
I think that's one thing that maybe you'd say about Mosquera, knowing that he had quite a nasty injury last pre-season, that, you know, he's maybe sensitive a little bit to not wanting to get injured ready for the next campaign, and it's a, you know, it's a tough time for players, isn't it, when they're trying to prove their point, and pre-season can make or break where they appear in the squad and whether they get loaned out still or whatever else happens. So I think he'd be wanting to prove a point and do his best, but possibly lost his head slightly in the aftermath of that tackle that was on him. But it's probably equally about the third or fourth physical challenge on him in this spell of the first half.
It's been pushed backwards, but Bueno's done well to turn and try and carry it forwards. Loses out to Salvador.
It's a great turn away from Bueno. Didn't quite get his pass away afterwards, but he's so tidy on the ball. Great to play him to watch.
Oh, it's all getting in trouble again. And the players rushing onto the field. And somebody needs to get control. Somebody needs to calm things down. There've been too many rash challenges from Levante that have come in on Wolves players, and the reactions have started to tell.
I think the key bit there is that the ball was nowhere near that position, so that's completely off the ball, like Daniel Torrens.
More and more players are getting involved now. See some wisely being pulled away. There's another couple of red cards being shown. Now this is silly. They're going down to 9 men aside, and they're blowing the whistle. Well, I mean, that's the end of the first half. Whether that's the end of the game or not, we do not know at this stage. The control has completely been lost here. It was supposed to be a friendly practice warm-up.
Yeah, I think as well, when it's behind closed doors, you'd hope that they could probably manage. You know, there's no crowd that are instigating any atmosphere at all. It's between two squads of players that really are here to prepare for their next campaign. So it's not, there shouldn't really be this level of edge in a behind closed door friendly. But hopefully they might have a chat between the coaches, see if they can reset for the second half.
Well, the officials seem to trying to get as far away as they possibly can here. There's Johnny still on the field. Man to the left of your screen is head of security who's got involved, and I think you can see he's seemingly suggesting we've had enough. We will try and get confirmation for you as to what is going on in Spain. I think there's many people who will be asking that very same question. This game was added relatively late to the schedule. A match that was simply supposed to be there to give an opportunity for some players to get some minutes into the legs who weren't going to be directly involved in the more glamorous Premier friendlies. But as you can see, things have spiralled somewhat, with a series of heavy challenges from Levante players that was doing its job almost in winding up some of the Wolves players, and eventually Gerson Mosquera reacted. That caused the first melee. 2 players were shown red cards, Enis Bardi for Levante and Gerson Mosquera, who we haven't seen since. And then things continued. We saw a couple of late challenges on Bueno and Corbeanu, and then off the ball almost, the second melee was started right on 45 minutes. The referee's blown up, and I think players are asking the question as to what are we going to do? Are we going to continue?
I mean, you can see some of the Levante players and officials are mingled in having conversations about what didn't happen. But like you say, it's a bit disappointing for the players that maybe haven't had their minutes yet this pre-season, and you know, Hugo Bueno coming in for a start and wanting to get minutes in his legs, preparing. That's what they're here for, to play football. Obviously, they've got a few more games to come, but today's an opportunity.
Well, Bruno Lage is having a conversation here. I'll tell you what, whilst he does that, we'll play you an interview with the new man, Nathan Collins, and then we'll try and find out if we have a second half for you. Here's Nathan Collins talking to Gemma over on camp.
Nathan, welcome to the pack. It's brilliant to have you here. I mean, you've had a whirlwind couple of days flying out here to Spain on your first day as a Wolves player. Have you had the chance to sort of sit and take it all in yet?
No, I haven't really. I was full on from the day I done my medical and then straight out over here to Spain. But since I've come in, I've really enjoyed it. You know, a couple of days have been really fun, and all the lads have been really welcoming so far.
Yeah, how have these first few days been? I know they've been putting you to work in training.
Yeah, training's been tough, and it's a tough standard. Like, so I'm getting myself up to speed. But I've enjoyed it so far. It's been good.
Well, what was it that convinced you to make the move here to Wolves?
I think there was a lot in it. You know, I played Wolves twice last season. I've seen the style of play, and I think it complements my style of play. You know, I've seen the team that's there, and I've seen that there's something to build on, and I think there's something to chase as well as a team, and we have high aspirations, and I'm looking forward to the season really.
Well, when you played Wolves back last season for Burnley, what were your new teammates like to play against back then?
Yeah, we played them when I played them in the Molyneux. That was tough game, really tough game. You know, they played us off the park really, but then obviously it was a different game when we played at home. But they were a tough team. We probably didn't deserve to win, but we got a result somehow. But yeah, tough team to play against, and really hard when they're on their day. They're a really good team.
So of course you now just finished your first season in the Premier League. Do you feel you adapted well now to this level?
I think in the first season, yeah, I think it took me a few games to get up to speed, but by the end of the season, I was really enjoying myself, you know, and I love the standard. I love playing against the players. It's one of the best leagues in the world easily, and every player wants to play in it, so I really enjoy the challenge of it as well.
Well, you've signed for 5 years. What do you hope to achieve over that period of time with Wolves?
I don't know, honestly. trying to get over the first few days here, but no, even this season I want to push for Europe. I think that as a group we all want that. You know, I think that should be the minimum of what we want to push for. But if we do that, and then we can push on again and keep getting better as a team over the next 5 years.
Did you know any of your teammates before you flew out here and met them in Spain?
Only Conor Ronan, to be fair. I played with him a few times with Ireland in the international, so only him.
Was it nice to see a familiar face?
Yeah, he was good. He helped me out. He helped me out to start with, so it was good to see someone.
Oh, that's good. Well, of your teammates that you didn't know, is this a nice setting now to sort of get to know them a little bit better, not only train together, but get to spend some time with them socially?
I think so. I think it was better to come in here now for the camp, you know, stay away with them. Like, no one else has talked to us other than the lads, so I think it's the best chance to get to know them.
And then before you did fly out here, you obviously had a very brief visit to Compton Park, where our training ground is. You got to meet some of the staff. What were your sort of first impressions?
No, it was good. I really enjoyed it. You know, everyone's so welcoming. Looks like a really well-run club, and the standard of the training ground is really high, and I can't wait to get back there again and start training again.
Well, I'm sure it'll go really quickly out here in Spain, and then it's only a couple of weeks until the season starts as well. So, are you excited for it to all restart again?
Yeah, I can't wait. I need to get back playing football. I've missed it over the break. You know, the Premier League is one of the best, and I really enjoy the challenge of it. So I want to get back playing as soon as.
Well, the fans are also looking forward to seeing you out on that pitch. Do you have a message for the Wolves fans now that you're here with us?
Just once they support me, I'll give 100% on the pitch every day of the week. Like, that's all I can ask for.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Nathan, and all the best.
Thank you.
Out at camp, as you can see, there are some players kicking a ball around, but we have been watching pictures of a lot of stuff being packed up. So it might well be that both teams are just going to have a bit of a training session from here on in. We are still waiting for any official confirmation from Spain that the game has been abandoned. Both sides down to 9 men after a tumultuous first half. Let's hear an interview with one man who might well have just been sent off at the end of that half, Daniel Pedence, who's also been catching up with Gemma out in Spain.
Daniel, thank you for joining me down at the pool. It's not a bad place to spend the afternoon, but I won't keep you too long. Before we talk a little bit about how things have been going here in Spain, firstly, a huge congratulations are in order. You got married this summer. Has it been a really special sort of off-season for you this year?
Yeah, it was a different one, but I think the most special until now. I'm 26 and it's been so good having my off-season with my family, with my friends, keeping really close during those times because we had to do the arrangements to the wedding. It was amazing to have the people around me, and of course having the time to enjoy and then to prepare myself to the pre-season. It was just unbelievable because everything got together, and for me it was the first time in my life, and I just really happy because of it.
I mean, it looked absolutely beautiful. I mean, was it a really special day? It looked stunning. We've seen all the photos and videos on Instagram.
Yeah, it's 1 month now, and I've been posting. I mean, not every day, but a lot in my Instagram, and I don't get tired because I really enjoy watching videos from my wedding, seeing photos, and I want to keep posting, and I'm still waiting for photos and videos, and I can't surpass that day because it was something else, and even my friends, even here, João, Nelson, Pedro, they are telling it's amazing. Now careful because the next party has to be much better.
That's good, yeah.
And will not be easy.
You set the expectations now. Yeah. So your teammates came along to the wedding as well. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
some of them, and Patricio is not here, but Fabio and people from staff, they were there, and that's why I said to you was the first time I had even friends from football, friends from my private life, and my family all together doing a good party, having a good time together. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's nice for it all to come together. Where did you have the honeymoon as well? That looked amazing too. The wedding wasn't good enough. The honeymoon was amazing.
I was in Tanzania, an island very special in Africa, and me and my wife now, it's difficult to understand now.
Keep calling her your wife.
She's my wife. But it was very good week, and then we came here to Spain straight, but it was an unbelievable week. We did everything we could there to relax, to enjoy the time, the week together, just us, and it was very good.
It looks amazing. Did you go on a safari while you were there?
No. We wanted, but we had no time because we had only 9-10 days to start the pre-season, and I wanted to relax, to come here and improve myself and to be prepared. So, but safari is in our mind
next time. You still packed in a lot into those few weeks, but a huge congratulations to you and the new Mrs. Pedence. But we are now here in Spain. Been here for a week now. How's things been?
Hard, very hard, because we are training twice in a day, and the sun, the trainings are very hard. The coach are pushing us to be in a good mood, improving our performance during the training, to be on the very good performance to the games, and it's been very hard, but that's good because we are preparing to perform well, and I think it's the right thing to do at the moment, to push ourselves to the limit, and then we can enjoy during the match playing together. So I think it's hard, but has to be like
Yeah.
that.
It's all the hard work's going to be worth it once the season starts. Are you looking forward to the season restarting? It's only a couple of weeks away now. It's going to come around really quick.
Yeah, I'm really nervous because it's always a mix of feeling. You want to play, but it's the first two weeks of the season, and you want to play really well because you have to start in a high level. And for me, individual, I didn't play so much in the last part of the season, and I want to start very well. And I'm doing in terms of getting it, but it's difficult because we can manage we have to manage our mentally and physically to be in the right mood.
Yeah. Well, all the best for the pre-season friendlies this week. Thank you very much for coming down and speaking to us. We'll let you go because you've got, I know, another training session this evening and you've got some resting to do.
And another nap.
Yeah. Get you out of the sun. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So here we go. We are back underway. We have a game again. And we are told that we are back up to 11 aside. So bear with us while we try and work out who's playing again and what has happened. I think Dexter Lembakisa is on as far as Wolves are concerned. Willie Bolly, you can see, is on there in the bottom of your picture. Joe Hodge has also been introduced to the action, as has Harvey Griffiths. So Wolves keen to give some of the youngsters some minutes. That was one of the most unusual 45 minutes, well, about 32 minutes I think we actually played in that first half football. And maybe everyone's got together and had a bit of time to calm down and say, right, the whole reason we're playing this game is to try and get some fitness into some players' legs. So let's stop kicking each other, or mainly Levante, if you can stop kicking us, that would be really appreciated. And maybe we can just have a game of football. So we are back underway, Claire Hateman. I mean, I've commentated in fog last season, which was one of the more unusual things I've ever seen go on in a football pitch. That was not quite what you expect from pre-season.
No, definitely not. I don't think you don't really expect to see any level of dispute. I mean, it's just off the fact that obviously both were off the ball incidents as well, pretty much. First one in reaction to a tackle, but 3-4 sendings off, we think. Yes, it was a crazy 10 minutes there. Maybe it's the heat getting to everybody, but great that they've reset and sorted it out in terms of getting it back onto an 11v11. I don't think either side would find it very productive having 9v9. As much as you practice that, it's not something that would occur frequently at all. So good to see the players back out on the pitch and going again for this second half.
Richard has just reminded me on Twitter that I did put out a warning before the game about the microphone positions and that you might hear a bit of swearing before the game. And simply pointing, you were worried about a bit of swearing on the stream being the biggest thing to tell people about as to what they were going to expect from this morning's game. It was bueno. The fact that we couldn't actually see corners of the pitch. Levante's players would be doing some UFC tactics rather than more FC Football Club tactics.
Yeah, it's not quite what you normally expect to see in a pre-season friendly, the level of physicality that we were seeing in that first half, but
at this stage of pre-season as well.
Yeah, early on. I mean, nobody wants an injury, right, for either side, but yeah, it was tasty at points.
I mean, I get that they got relegated last year and they might have some players trying to make an impact, but when you talk about making an impact, it's a metaphorical impact, not a physical impact. Goodness me.
For sure, and I think the incidents probably were driven by the fact that the Wolves players were not happy with how physical the game was, and it's not something you expect at pre-season at this stage, like you said. So hopefully this will be a calmer, more productive half for Wolves.
So anyway, the long and short of it is that Wolves are 1-0 down technically. Connor Cody amongst those on the field now. I think Saturday's game against Besiktas will hopefully be a touch quieter back at the Camilla Kano Stadium. And then Villarreal B here at Malia Villatana on Sunday morning before the players fly home. Polly, big strong figure, keeps hold of possession. Griffiths. It's a bad ball looking for run of Lembakisa. So I say, first and foremost, from a Wolves point of view, it's interesting to see the formations, 4 at the back last night. Seems like continuing with 5 at the back through this game. It'll keep people guessing, questioning how will Wolves line up away at Leeds on the 6th of August, which is getting ever closer.
Yeah, I think it's always a bit of a guessing game, and I think every fixture is different. And I think Bruno's been pretty good at mixing up the formation specific to the team that we're playing against as well. So I think that'll totally be considered. I believe we played a lot of four at the back last pre-season, but obviously our first game last season we went back into 5 at the back, so there's no particular telling. I think it's just getting players in the right positions and personnel and seeing who can do what where and best combinations for each particular game.
So you're watching Wolves against Levante from Wolves TV. We had numerous sendings off in the first half, 2 major melees, potential game abandonment, bizarre back pass decision.
It was bizarre from start to finish, wasn't it, really? I mean, in effect, this should be 0-0, Marky. I think we should push for that. It's a completely different game.
Yeah, I mean, Levante scored a very good goal, but probably the only actual bit of football that they created in the first half. And that was just a long ball over the top. Wolves might have been a touch distracted at the time. Griffiths back to Bolly. Cody in possession. And a Willy Bolly. I would say nobody would try and mess with Willy Bolly, but I wouldn't have thought anyone would try and mess with Gerson Mosquera, to be honest, and that didn't particularly go well for Levante.
Hopefully it's going to be a game of 2 halves, Marky.
Sunday's game, by the way, against Villarreal B, may well feature shorter halves, I'm told, so just to let you know for that, if you are joining us to watch it for free on YouTube. So it's why these practice matches are free. The official friendlies all available on Wolves TV and via Facebook.
And it was a great start, wasn't it, last night?
Yeah, really impressive.
Great to see so many Wolves fans there in the crowd as well. Really positive display, some good goals in there, and that's the key, isn't it?
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, goodness me.
It's so cynical.
Well,
it's good to see they're learning, Mikey. Wow.
Joe Hodge did brilliantly to turn away from his man and then just crudely dragged down to the floor.
It's a tough gig for the ref, this one. That's a fact. It's a great turn from Hodge. So lively, great player on the ball.
So let's hope we don't see any more of that. Otherwise, tempers will flare again. Ollie towards Hodge in field. Levante seemed to have a team for the second half that we were told was going to start the game. It's all been fun and games until someone gets properly hurt, of course, and nobody wants to see that.
It was obviously their second half team sheet, wasn't it? Must have given us the wrong one.
Lost in translation.
That's it.
Maybe just the side that started the game had to start because they're all under police curfew in Spain. They need to be home by midday Spanish time. Wolverh. Just to their credit, still moving the ball when they can.
It's just making that little the ball stick in the final third. It seems to have been more of the challenge in this game as a whole for Wolves, but like we said before, the combinations are always different, and we've got another, a completely different front three on now, so it's kind of to be expected, and we're testing combinations that work for different games, and this is people getting their minutes as well, so it's not to be forgotten that it's a practice game, it's behind closed doors.
Georgie Philly deciding not to try and demonstrate too strongly with Willy Bolly for that challenge. Wise move. There's Connor Cody. We've had nearly 11 minutes without a red card. Note that down, everyone.
Flying now. Interesting to see this combination, isn't it? Now with Willy Bolly, Cody, Collins at the back.
Everybody keen to see what kind of connections are made.
Yeah, I think it's tough for a new player coming into the camp, isn't it? And obviously pretty established. The rest of the players have been here for a while.
It's a little bit loose, Collins, but Hodge did well enough just to force Levante backwards. So there are quite a few players, by the way, if you missed the coverage last night, that are not available yet. They're on tour. So Nelson Semedo, Adama Traore, Ichan Huang. They're not quite able to feature just yet.
Winger! Inside winger!
Certainly in Semedo and Traore's case, they may want to not feature at all in their Spanish trip. In fact, Semedo definitely won't.
Yeah, I think he's a way off, isn't he? And it's so unfortunate, really, because you kind of consider after his season, last season, that he'd be, one to start in the starting 11. I think he grew as the season went on as well, so it'll be a big miss to start the season.
Well, another change from Levante. 28 is Alex Munoz. There was another that Levante told us was going to start.
He was definitely going to be on the pitch at some point. I think that was it's not the lineup, it's on the pitch at some point.
58 minutes in.
He's turned up.
Yeah, maybe the bus was late.
Yeah, could be that.
Could have been the issue.
No, Joe! Do!
This is better work. Son, that's someone's elbow. There's a dangerous ball in, and Wolves doing just about enough to try and get it clear. Danger not fully over. It's a great strike and it's a great finish. And Levante have a second goal. Wolves didn't quite deal with it. And in the end, it's smashed home. Nothing Jackson Smith could do. And Levante have two.
Yeah, it wasn't the best defending. I don't think we've headed it back into the mix and put Hugo Bueno in a difficult position where he's tried to hook it away, and good closing down from Nathan Collins, but obviously a decent strike in there. And to be fair, it's a great finish.
It's a great strike.
Yeah. The keeper's never saving that, I don't think, but I think just the initial moments we could have probably dealt with it a little bit better, but
say results don't tend to matter, especially not in practice games. It is nice when Wolves play well, but this is far from a Wolves strong lineup, has to be said. I don't think anybody should get too concerned at the way things have gone this morning. This is it's supposed to be a glorified training session.
yeah, 100%. I mean, you can see some of the Wolves players walking there behind the goal. You got quite an inexperienced front pairing at the moment by the looks of it in Kundal and Corbanu, so bit of a surge forward from Collins there. It was a bit Kilman-esque from yesterday until he started to get towards the corner flag, but good to see him. He's confident on the ball, isn't he, Collins? I quite like the look of him. I think he's got obviously the stature and the height of a classic centre-back, but pretty tidy on the ball as well, so he's been quite impressed with what I've seen so far.
Kilmania was running wild last night.
Unreal, what a goal that was. I mean, I think it was the fact that you realised how far it came from. It was the power and the surge. I mean, he's a brilliant player, isn't he? So you kind of expect nothing less, but even so, that is a great run finish and a lot of composure to finish it off in the end. But yeah, he's a big player for us this season. I think he broke through last year and was superb, and just a bit unfortunate he missed out towards the end through injury, but expecting more big things from Kilman this year.
Yeah. Forget Hulkamania. Maximilian Kilmania running wild all over Premier League defences this year. Oh, if he scores one like that in a proper game.
Oh, is the futsal in him? Has anyone mentioned that? I think it's,
I was quite
so
proud,
tidy.
I was quite proud of myself.
Did you not mention it? No. Did you not? It's like Max Kilman bingo.
I mean, far from it for me to shy away from any type of cliche.
Oh, I was just going to say that.
Commentary bingo, but
little pun.
No, me and Tomo have a rule: we don't talk about it. Leave that to everybody else. Kundal, really rough challenge from Trevasvili.
Getting a bit of protection from the referee there.
I wonder if both sides had a word with the referee at half time as well and said, look, we've got to be in control of this. We can talk to our players. Local officials. Here's Lembakisa. Collins in a long stint here. Griffiths. Hodge. Tidy player, Joe Hodge. Is it back from Bueno? Griffiths, well known to each other. The time at Manchester City together before they both came to Wolves last summer.
Both integral, weren't they, in the under-23s as well, the campaign towards the end. Brilliant players, both of them.
I think Gomez was the Levante man chasing, but it'll be a Wolves free kick. Yeah, both actually really highly thought of by Man City in terms of, it wasn't like they were getting rid of them because they didn't rate them. They simply have such an array of talent coming through in the youth levels that it was decided that it was better off for the players' development more than anything to allow them to come to a club like Wolves who have a good relationship at youth level with City, sign players from them before, and allow them to go on and try and develop themselves. Conor Ronan and Totti are going to rejoin us. Nathan Collins gone off, Dendonka going off, so just a bit of a break. Extra long half-time period for Totti and Ronan.
I imagine it's breaking it up in the heat as well, isn't it? I mean, obviously Conor didn't feature yesterday, did he? But good opportunity for him to get minutes either side of the half.
Really pleased for him to be back involved in amongst the first team picture. He is one of the nicest young lads you could ever meet.
And he had a brilliant season, didn't he, at St Mirren? I think everything that you read about him and some of the goals he scored were fantastic. So, you know, so much ability there.
Well, ever since he broke through into the under-18s, having moved down to the Midlands, he's had such incredible talent. Everybody knew it. He and Morgan Gibbs-White and Brighton Abakari were the standouts of that under-18 side. And everyone knew it was Conor that drove it. He was the leader of that group as well. Not a huge talker, but the kind of player that led by example. Here comes Corbeanu, trying to make something happen for Wolves. Corbeanu, I think, was going for goal, and that might well have gone into a particularly delicate area.
Oh, it's unlucky because that's, you know, a position where the ball was rebounding out, and we're, you know, it's the first time you've seen us really drive into that penalty area. So
I think that's Sergio Postigo, who has had a Theo Corbeanu power effort.
I think the physio might have injured himself
running there as well.
The physio's popped his calf on the way out as well, so it's all going well today.
Oh, that looks painful.
It was a decent bit of power behind that.
Oh, it makes me feel ill.
I'd say I've not got much sympathy, but, you know, it feels a bit harsh.
Yeah, and anyway, Conor Ronan, whilst Levante player gets a certain area checked over. Yeah, lovely kid, came through, obviously got quite a serious injury, having not long broken through, and then was obviously, by the time he gets fit, there's a new head coach, a new style of system which didn't necessarily suit him, and the club signs a certain Ruben Neves, so good luck trying to get into the team then. And he's been here, there and about, and tried to get him good loan moves, but because of the size and style of the player he is, it's very easy to take him out of the lineup and go for a more physical player in the lower levels of English football. It's why when he went out and played in Europe, he had a great deal more success in Slovakia and then in Switzerland.
Yeah, I think you look at, like you say, his stature and stuff, but you look at João Moutinho and, you know, it's totally possible, and the fact that he's still with us, he's 24, but, you know, he's still here and considered as part of the squad, and the fact that he's obviously made the tour, it tells you that they're, you know, they're really considering him as a potential. But I imagine that's what this pre-season's about, isn't it? That you've got a lot of fringe players in there, some 23s that have moved up as well, and it's an opportunity for Bruno to see them in this environment, see how they work around the squad, and I imagine there will still be some players going out on loan off the back of the pre-season, and maybe there will be some players coming in, and maybe a couple going out as well. But it's how it rolls for every club this pre-season. But Conor Ronan, you're really just impressed by him and the way that he comes on and gets on with his job, and, you know, he's still very much a Wolves player as well. So great to be seeing him get this opportunity to play with the boys and see how he gets on this period.
Well, Conor Ronan, he's never been flash. He's a really good kid. He's settled down. A lot about his family life, and parents have always been really important to him. I remember his dad posted such a lovely emotional message after he made his debut for the first team at Nottingham Forest a good couple of years ago, about just what it meant to them as an entire family, really, and the sacrifices that they'd made and that Conor had made. Last time I really spoke to him in depth, he'd just come back from one of his loan spells a couple of years ago and got his new contract, and the club effectively created a Lone Player of the Year award the end of season awards to recognise what he'd done really in that season. And as you say, Claire, his contributions to St Mirren was impressive. And if Wolves are to switch to slightly different formation and way of playing, that means that he could potentially come back into the reckoning as a squad player. I think he would never shy away from doing anything the club has asked him to do. Maybe this isn't his opportunity, maybe it won't work out for him, but you can never say that he's never given absolutely everything he has to try and make a career for himself at Wolverhampton Wanderers, and you have to respect that.
Yeah, totally. And I think the fact that people talk about maybe not so many signings as people might have hoped for, but you've got players like Gibbs White coming back off the back of a massively successful loan spell at Sheffield United, and for us it could be like a new signing, so you don't know, like you say, best fit, right moment, right time. I think there's so much luck involved in professional football these days that timing of injuries can make or break people's careers, so and maybe things won't work out for them at a particular point, and probably rings true a little bit the way Conor Cody came to Wolves, with his story. So in terms of low moves that he previously had, and he wasn't convinced that maybe Wolves might be the right move for him, but it's just a look at the draw at that particular point in time, and I think lots of these players are integral, and the fact that Wolves do create quite a family feel and do look after their players pretty well as well. So really excited to see what the season holds for Wolves.
So officially 20 minutes to go of this practice game.
I think we're owed 10 minutes from the first half. I'd say if we're going to go for time played.
Did the first half happen?
It is only 1-0 at the moment.
Someone's checked on Gerson Mosquera. Oh, he's calmed down yet.
He'll have a cooling towel on. He'll be fine.
Someone go and get him in that swimming pool, sharpish. I think there are some fans staying in the hotel now. It's a pretty big complex, but all the swimming pools are there. Players have been enjoying themselves. Some of them hired a boat at the weekend. One main day off. We went go-karting.
A few flamingos as well in the pool, I noticed. Gemma Frith was on pumping up duty of those, but it always looks horrible, doesn't it, those elements of pre-season? Then you see them running and working really hard and you realise it's not, it's definitely no holiday.
Yeah, training and playing games in the heat. That was a late challenge.
Connor! Let's go! Let's go!
Told it is officially 33 degrees in Alicante, but feels like 39 degrees, according to the weather apps.
We're used to that kind of weather here these days.
So imagine trying to play a game of football in the weather that we had on Monday and Tuesday.
Unreal.
That's what they're doing now. Normally, training would have finished an hour ago. They've been having a bit of lunch and then messing around in the swimming pool. And come Levante, trying to capitalise and look for a third. Bolly did just enough in the end. Applied the pressure on Alejandro Cantero.
Yeah, I think that
Cody involved.
Came from a misplaced pass from Totti on the halfway line, and recovery runs, but well done Cody and Bolly getting in and around it while Totti made his way back into the back three. But you can see tiredness, can't you? You can see them dropping to their knees just slightly. It's hot. Its humidity levels, I imagine, will be crazy as well. So lots of hydration is key.
There's a hustle and bustle. A few players involved, waiting to make their runs. Back into the group of bodies, and tamely behind for a goal kick. A few more subs, I think, are going to be made. For anyone who's not been aware of kind of how these trips work as well, they're an hour ahead, so they'll have finished the game about 9 or just just after last night, and then some of them will have had a bit of a warm down and obviously a shower and get changed. And by the time they get back to the hotel, probably would have been a long time after 10. And then the players have to eat, they have to refuel, and it's all carbs. So, you know, it's pizza, it's chicken, it's curries, it's all sorts of things. And it's not always, I mean, for me, it's easy to eat that kind of stuff at that time of night, but the athletes have to pile it back in and then try and get some sleep.
I imagine it's the toughest when it's a kind of mid-morning kick-off, maybe a lunchtime kick-off, and they're eating like pasta for breakfast. I think I always find that like it must be like, oh yeah, it sounds great, doesn't it? The food of a footballer when it's carbs and pizza, but not at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's a fact. But it's interesting the amount of work that goes into, like, obviously the nutrition is just crazy. Right time to eat, types of food.
It's Kundal. Bueno. Grip on his shirt from Pablo Martinez. Also continued to try and work it. Something's happened just out of picture.
I reckon it's a free kick and it was a foul, quite a physical foul from Levante.
You can see one of our Wolves media team is filming it down there behind the goal, so
or a throw-in.
It's on social media later, might be one of the highlights.
Oh,
free kick. Someone just pausing from their round of golf in the background.
It's a hard life, isn't it?
Well, the ball is delivered in, and it's too high a delivery. Totti trying to keep things alive. He's done well, actually.
Yeah, he has.
Lifted back into the danger zone. Volley's header a long way high and wide.
I guess it was Conor Ronan on the free kick. I think it was a pretty deep delivery, wasn't it? Shame we haven't really tested the keeper. You know, I know these pre-season games are, you know, tough. It's about getting the minutes in the body, but not a great deal happening in the final third. Not much interplay, but like you say, different combinations. Again, we've got another completely different front three on at the moment from the first half. So.
Playing the ball back in field. Archer with the charge down. Daniel Leal up to his goalkeeper. And Bakisa was closing in.
It's good to see some of the under-23s getting on the trip, isn't it? Probably a reward as well for how well they did last season. So Lembakisa, Bueno, Hodge, Kundal, Griffiths.
Yeah, Kundal made that step up to the first team last year, but continued to play for the under-23s, for the under-21s this coming season.
And gave so much to it, didn't he? So much energy. It was unreal. Scoring some great goals, lots of assists in there as well.
Hodge losing out. This is Pablo Martinez. Son in field. Pepelu switching the play. To give you an idea of how young some of these guys are, Harvey Griffiths was also eligible to play in the FA Youth Cup last year, part of the under-18s who got to the semi-finals, beaten by Manchester United.
You forget how young Hugo Bueno is, like 19, isn't he? He's a hell of a player. Incredible when you think under 23s he was smashing it. He's 19. It's pretty impressive.
He did well in pre-season last year before he got injured, pulled his hamstring in the friendly away at Coventry. He scored 5 goals in the last 7 appearances for the 23s last season.
And some assists in there as well, wasn't there? I mean, his crossing mobility is superb as well. Like, really making things happen. And also big pressure games. They had some pressure games to finish up the season, but he was a real standout player in that period.
Spanish player born in Vigo, similar to Johnny. Which is in northwestern Spain.
Testing my geography, Mikey.
Down here towards near Alicante, Benidorm in the southeast. Levante are pretty local. Alaves, last night's opponents, travelled down from the Basque region up the north, near Bilbao.
Nearly a shot on target from that header, wasn't it? The volley. Great bit of distance.
Maybe we can put it down as one.
I think we'll count that off target.
Claiming the stats from this practice game. Nice head of thoughts. Bobby Griffiths getting the free kick. Things have been relatively calm second half, has to be said. Would have been a shame to have abandoned the game at half time.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's lost minutes, isn't it? Although obviously it's a practice game, it's not. You know, the scoreline's not so important, and it's about people getting minutes on the pitch in positions. But you don't want to lose minutes for people either over the period. It will be very much planned out to why they've added games at certain points, and making sure some of these fringe players, maybe the players that have come back in off loan, and the under-23s get to mingle with some of the natural known first-team starters.
Might explain also why some of the players who were listed as being subs for Wolves decided not to bother risking them, like of Neves and Matinho and Johnny.
I think that's totally understandable, isn't it? In a game that was pretty heated as well in the first half.
Jimenez as well. I might see them for a couple of minutes, but not expected. Connell to Hodge. Again, improved challenges coming in. That was Pepperloo.
It's just an absolute kick out, isn't it, as well? Like, with no intention. He knows he's not going to win the ball. Just have a big swipe.
And Bakisa couldn't quite squeeze it through to Theo Corbeanu.
Great feat to get himself in that position. He's, got a bit of flair to him, Lembakisa, but just couldn't quite get the pass away.
Joe, go on, Joe! Go on, Joe! Unaffect him, Joe! Unaffect him! You got the back here, 2v1.
It's not a bad delivery in. No, brilliant header. Superb header. What a delivery in. Inviting. And it's a brilliant finish. Wolves get themselves one back later on. Such a great delivery in there. The power from the header of Totti, and goalkeeper couldn't keep it out.
It's a bullet header, isn't it? Fantastic. Great delivery. Really rose to it as well. Met it at the right point. Keeper had no chance. Fantastic finish that. Straight up to the Wolves TV camera in the corner, I think, for his little celebration.
Here we go. Go on, Theo. Climb up. Make him kick it. Here we go.
Tony Roberts, the goalkeeper coach, trying to encourage.
Yeah, I think he just pulled him there, had him on the shoulder, I think. Griffiths.
Theo, come on, Theo, I need you.
But no, there's not been a drinks break in this half either, has there?
I think there was a little.
Oh, was there one?
Pause, yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah, I think I was talking nonsense about Conor Ronan.
Oh, we're having a lovely chat about Conor. So let's see how we defend this one. It's been quite tight, hasn't it, in the box when we're defending free kicks from this angle. I think it's always the hardest position to defend from as a centre-back.
6 is Pablo Martinez, 29 is Johnny Montiel. It's Pablo to lift it in. Appeals for handball. Referee waved away any protest.
Keep going, Connor.
6 minutes left to play. Levante trying to find themselves another goal to restore their advantage, but an excellent challenge by Willy Bolly.
It's classic Willy Bolly tackle, that, isn't it? Wins it when he really shouldn't, but great play.
That's brilliant.
That'll do us.
Rundle trying to get on with it. Ronan drawing the free kick.
Done well there under a lot of pressure, hasn't he, in a couple of occasions, Ronan. Really tidy on the ball as well. Kind of does everything simply.
So the biggest difference in a couple of years that he's had away is how much he's kind of filled out. He's strong now. He's 24 years old. He's still not tall, but you can see there's a little bit more physicality compared to, say, a Joe Hodge or a Luke Cundall, who are a couple of years behind him in that sense.
Yeah, and you've got to have it, haven't you? You know, it's just not for the game. It's the training. You see players come in and really build up over the summer, but you saw Fabio probably in the last season really come on in terms of his strength. It's key. It's a massive component of the game.
It's the different level of conditioning when you've been in and around first teams for as long as he has. He was the man putting pressure on again. A little bit more of a threat from Levante. Totti intercepting and finding Ronan. And referee's decided, I think we've had enough. 4 minutes short. So we probably played about 32 minutes first half with all the melees and sendings off, and then an extra long half-time sequence where we didn't know whether we were definitely going to come and play again, and eventually we did, and both sides were restored to 11 each. And then we played 4 minutes short in the second half. But nevertheless, I mean, for a practice game, they got something out of it.
Yeah, I think so. I think at least they got the minutes in the second half. I think there's a lot of players there that hadn't featured yet or had only had minimal minutes maybe in last night's game that needed to get something under their belt, and you know, Corbenu's played the whole game there, I think. So you've got players that needed those minutes to embed them within the squad and move on to the next game. But I think the referee was just so relieved there'd been no major incidents in the second half. He thought he'd call it a day at that point, but maybe it was agreed. Maybe it was agreed in the the half-time interval when we thought it might be cancelled.
I mean, maybe he's just he only paid for parking to a certain time.
Could totally be that. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he's got to get going, or he's got a lunch booking in the hotel he can't possibly miss. So Wolves beaten in the game, but it doesn't really matter a great deal, I think.
No, I think it's really key that we don't get carried away with whatever the result is, because I think it's it is what it is. I think the games where you've got a crowd in, I think it's a little bit different. There's a bit more of an edge. I think the crowd and the spectators maybe expect a little bit more. But in these kind of games, training games, I mean, it's lucky enough, obviously, Wolves TV is showing the game, because 9 times out of 10 we wouldn't actually be seeing this game happen. So it's been fantastic to see the figures. You get to see a few people in different positions. It is what it is. It's for practice. It's for adjusting to heat conditions. It's for players to get minutes in their legs. It's looking at different combinations that maybe at the back with a 3 or a 4, and maybe that top front 3 rotating people around into the position. So it's key. It's practice. The result is a minor point. It was a great finish by Totti, by the way, but. These are just practice games for us to get the minutes in the legs and really build the endurance of players.
And thank God we were showing this, because people might not have believed that some of it actually happened. That was one of the challenges that really angered Gerson Mosquera. I say it wasn't just one challenge. There was many challenges that angered the players, and so much seemed to have gone on. There was another one that clipped Morgan Gibbs-White. There was a challenge on Corbenu. This was the second goal for Levante. doubled their lead after we'd restarted with 11 aside. Theo Corbanu then whacked one into the delicate region of one of the Levante defenders. And eventually Totti climbed high to Wolves a bit of a consolation. Who knows what might have happened in the 4 minutes we didn't get. Might have been a rousing turnaround. It could have been Villa away from last year.
We'd have totally equalised, that's for sure. We're missing those 4 minutes, but we were coming on. But yeah, it's just one of those games, isn't it? I think it was definitely an eventful game of 2 halves, very calm in the second. Maybe that was the influence of Conor Cody in the second half, calming things down a little bit. But yeah, crazy game in the first half.
Right, Claire Hakeman, thank you very much indeed. We will be back on Saturday night for the official friendly with Besiktas, and then Claire will be back with me on the Wolves YouTube channel on Sunday morning with another practice game against Villarreal B. If all this can happen,